It is about 9 o'clock on Thursday, December 29th, 2022. We just put up a new wire for a new row. We probably have that new row I set up and the 2 more rows left for the 60 acres here. I'm trying to get the phone out of the air so you're not getting too much wind noise. Blue is the leader. This is the area they were at. They were complaining to me this morning. They were whining. They're saying, we need more food. It is like 70 degrees right now. This early in the morning. I am sweating a little bit. I'm planning to do some of the manual labor that needs to be done around the ranch. There's some more pipe that we need to bury. Just a little section that we didn't quite get with the trencher. I planned to do it for months, but it's either been too hot or the ground's been too hard. Combination of the two. Now I think the ground is just right, and putting it off any longer is just being lazy. So this is the last little section. This evening, we're going to move them to the new row, give them some feed. There was a pile of grass 2 rows from now, so not the next row, but the row after that. I've never seen anything like it. The grass is probably 1.5 feet long, and it's kind of bowed over. If you look at this, like, I think this is due to the frost. The top of the grass turned dark green and is dead, but the bottom of the grass is still plenty alive, a light green color and still growing. So you get these splotches of light green with the wobbly dark green tops. Yeah, there's some pretty decent grass around here. So it is warm. If I were in the Pacific Northwest, I would say it's summer right now. I would say we're in early June, mid-June, maybe even late June. Sometimes we get this cool weather even late in June. Indeed, even July. Some years July was quite warm too. Was quite cool. So, telling me this is winter, which technically it is, I don't believe it. It doesn't look like winter to me. Not what I'm used to. I think that if I can keep the soil biology doing their thing properly, that we'll have plenty of grass for most of the year. There'll be a couple months, maybe a month or a month and a half in the summer when it's too hot, and maybe a month or month and a half in the winter when it's too cold in the average year. But we should have plenty of grass, and I plan on keeping a good stockpile of hay when things go sideways, you know. I saw a nice video this morning from a guy who doesn't have nearly enough subscribers as he deserves. I believe he's in Northeast Texas or a very similar area. He has a combination of cattle. He has some South Pole, some Dexter, looks like some Angus, a bunch of Herefords too. And he was talking about how it's just not reasonable to finish on grass for some of the cattle. And what he does is he starts off every steer as if he was going to finish it on grass. And then if he sees signs that the steer just isn't doing as well as the others, if it's like getting skinny or if it's not catching up, then he'll take that steer out with the other ones that are poorly performing and feed them. The reason for feeding them is twofold. Number one, people prefer cows that have been fed. Grass-fed has a flavor that a lot of people don't like. I know that people are like, oh, it's better for the environment, whatever. The feed is maybe not grown in the most responsible way, according to some people's definitions of responsible. But the cattle, it's like any other food. It goes in their belly, it gets digested, turns into nutrients for the cattle. And for some of his calves, and I mark this his calves because every cow is a little bit different. There's a greater variation, I think, inside the breeds than there is between the breeds, right? So for the cows that don't do well on the grass, he feeds them. He gets a product that people are willing to pay for. Or if he can't sell the calf, the steer, he can take it to market and get a decent price. Whereas if he tried to finish them on grass, regardless of the fact that they weren't doing well, then he would just end up with a poor carcass that he doesn't feel comfortable selling to his customers, and thus he would take it to market and get a poor price because the cow is obviously underperforming compared to other cows. So that's kind of his philosophy. I think that's a really reasonable strategy. I'm going to try grass-fed. If I don't like the results, I'm going to just go and just say every calf is grain-fed. Number one, that's how you get better gains for market. The feed for the cost of the cow is absolutely worth it. Number two, it takes a little bit of the pressure off the field while bringing nitrogen into the field. And number three, it produces a carcass that people are willing to pay a lot of money for, you know, and that's here in America. In order to make this worth my time, I can't sell my cows at commodity prices. The sheep maybe, yes, the sheep maybe, but the cows no. If you think about it, I'm competing with people in Argentina in the Pampas, right? I'm competing with people who don't need as much money to survive, and I can't expect to produce a better product than they are. And they've been doing cattle for generations. Their ground is probably better suited for it than this ground, and so trying to compete with them on a level playing field is not going to win. The thing that I can do, however, is I have access to customers in America who are willing to spend more for better product, who are more conscious about, you know, what they eat, are probably a lot more careful about, you know, not consuming things that have different chemicals in it, and are thus willing to pay a higher price. The catch is I have to put more labor into it, which I'm perfectly happy to do. The labor part is one of the reasons why I'm out here, so I can avoid old man disease. Keep moving, keep fed, you know. That's really the appeal of doing cattle for me, is having the sky over my head and the dirt under my feet, coming home with, you know, grimy fingernails, and hopefully getting a lot of exercise in the meantime. Anyway, I know you guys aren't here to listen to me rant, so let's go take a look at some of these cows. They're just beautiful today. We had a little bit of rain this morning. I checked the forecast. It's not really going to rain very much. It's just going to rain off and on a little bit. You know, a millimeter here, a millimeter there. Some people really like this cow. I agree. I had an orange one, but she died, and I feel really bad. The orange one had more orangey color, not so much yellow. She died. I checked the mouth, and she had tiny little nubs of teeth. Probably it was just her time, and I don't know if she was pregnant or not. Regardless, she's dead. Her bones are actually over there in the corner of the field. Yeah, a very depressing time. I had a Hereford die on me too. She was pregnant, and she went down, and I did all I could to try to save her, but it wasn't enough. And the honest truth is, once a cow lays down, they don't get up. I mean, they'll lay down and take a nap, but if they're laying down when they should be moving around, that's pretty much it for them. It's sad, but that's, you know, that's what things do. Is they're born, they live, they die. And question for us, of course, as humans is, what are we supposed to live for? Like cows, it's pretty obvious what they're supposed to do. You know, it's pretty obvious why I set aside this territory, this corner of God's green earth, why I put up these fences and everything. Question is, what are you doing? That's something I think about a lot. What's my purpose? You know, is it just to have a good time with the few moments you have on planet Earth and go out with a bang? You know, I think everybody knows what the answer to that question really is, even though it's not an answer that most people like. You know, it'd be much easier just to play video games and watch YouTube, you know, and just waste your time and whittle it away. But there's more important things to be doing. Anyway, guys, hopefully this New Year's you'll make some resolutions. Hopefully they'll be good resolutions. If I had one petition to you to make is when you make those resolutions, why don't you talk with your Heavenly Father about them and ask Him what He thinks of your resolutions and whether you should change them. And then take those resolutions, write them down, tell your family, put them on your fridge, and work a little bit every day at them. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care, and bye-bye.